Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. The show is designed to give you solutions to your day-to-day management and leadership problems. It's hosted by Matthew Haddock, a frontline manager and leader with over 25 years of experience. If you're ready, then let's get on with the show.
Hi and welcome to the Manager Matt's Wednesday Word, a short cast on a subject I find interesting in the world of leadership and management. As always, please can you subscribe and rate the Manager Matt show wherever you get your favourite podcasts from. It helps others find the cast and hopefully improve their leadership and management skills. Now, without any more delay, let's get on with this week's Wednesday Word. So, if you've ever had directs, and I'm assuming because you're listening to the show, you do have directs, you may have encountered this dilemma before. I know I have. And I know I've had it a few times, and I know I've got it right, and sometimes I've got it wrong. Is there a skill you can master to make sure you support your directs, but without being too blinkered to their faults? Put it another way, how do you balance having the team's back and supporting them, but becoming too blind to their shortfalls and being defensive? It's difficult. When you work with the team day in, day out, they become your work family, especially if you're the leader. Those are the people who represent you out on the floor. They are the people who pass your directions down to the team. And it can become very difficult to separate them doing a good job and becoming too defensive. You can have a bit of a siege mentality about the group, and that's probably magnified as we go through COVID because we've all been very isolated with a lot less visitors than we would have had in the past. Now, you should always cover your team. There is a need for trust from you to them and them to you, but you can become blind to their weak points if you don't watch it. Now, obviously, it is natural for you to become defensive when others outside may criticise your team. You've worked with those people. You're proud of them. You may have even brought most of them into the business. But there's a balance as a leader. So how can you stop this natural movement to being too defensive? Well, first thing is to understand there may be a blind spot that you could have. And that's always the same in any problems. You have to understand that there's a problem out there to be solved. And this could be as simple as stepping back and thinking, do I have a problem around covering too much of my team and maybe not being open to the fact that they could be making errors or mistakes? Now, from that starting point, you can then go and I start to gather other points of reference. There'll be other people's opinions, either within the team, so team to team's views is very important. You may get your own observations by interacting and stepping back and watching their email conversations, their interactions in meetings, the way their body language works when they're sat in with you on briefings. And you can also get external stakeholder views and ask them what they're like when you're not around. You can't be around your directs 24/7. There'd be no point in having them if you had. Now, from this data, you can start to see, are you becoming overprotective? Is there really an issue? And have you got the right balance between the two? There's always an old saying that I've heard in the past. You might have heard it. It goes something like this. If one person calls you an ass, well, that's their opinion and that's up to them. If two people are calling you ass, well, obviously it's a conspiracy. But if three people start to call you an ass and more, then maybe you should look around and see if you've got a tail. If you're hearing news about your team from multiple, and this is the important bit, independent sources that don't align to your view of your team member, then you really need to challenge the way you're working and the way you're thinking. On the reverse, you might think you're getting negative news about an individual from multiple angles, but just be aware, go back and just check, is this really just the same information being repeated through many people? One person says it, two people listen, then three people tell you the same news, but realistically, there's only one person actually telling you that. And remember, people in businesses make it work, but there's always a bit of politics and there's always a bit of personal opinions. You can't get on with everyone all the time, which can cloud reality. So just remember, you must support your team. You've got to have the back, but just have a balance as a leader to step away and say, am I being too overprotective. Well, that's my Wednesday word for this week. Now, as ever, you can always give me feedback on the show because it's a gift to managermattpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, I read all my own emails and will reply to anyone who asks me any questions about the show. But if not, that's it for me this week. Thanks for listening and goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening to this Manager Matt podcast. We hope you found it interesting, helpful and actionable. One last thing, please leave a quick review on iTunes or with your podcast provider as it helps to spread the word of Manager Matt. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the podcast, and if you did like anything in particular, send an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com or visit managermatt.co.uk for more content. Feedback is a gift, so let's keep giving. See you next week.